It's a place proudly more British than Britain itself. There are proper bobbies, bitter, on tap. And people still shop at BHS. All this on a block of Mediterranean rock overrun with macaques. And if they could talk, they'd probably swear an oath to the Queen. This is Gibraltar. And one thing there isn't here is referendum fatigue. Now what strikes you here overwhelmingly is that people really do give a monkeys. There is a genuine fear in Gibraltar that Brexit would mean Spain over there closing the border. And it's a border on which almost everything in Gibraltar is entirely dependent. Gibraltar has been shut off before, under Franco in '69, right through to the 80s. Spanish media reports the rock would be back on the government's agenda day one after Brexit.
Cheers.
That is, if they can get past this woman.
I'm British, and over my dead body they close that border.
But if we're no longer part of the EU, it's a possibility, isn't it?
No. Would we let them close that border?
What would you do?
We'd fight, wouldn't we, like we did in the war?
Would you fight?
Of course I'd fight. Give us a gun, I'd fight.
There are people in Gibraltar living rather well. It's one of the fastest growing economies in the world, fueled by one particular industry: online betting. They're here because corporation tax is just 10%, gambling duty just 1%.
We have a licence here in Gibraltar, which actually, because Gibraltar is part of Britain, therefore part of the European Union, allows us to sell our products anywhere in the European Union.
Lotto Land is 3 years old and has revenues of £100 million. And at the top end, is this a place where you can come and make a bit of cash?
Yeah, absolutely. Favourable personal taxation regime for those who want to be part of that.
And how much of the lifeblood of this industry is reliant on being in the EU?
Oh, significant amount. I mean, I think for most of the gaming companies, the EU would represent a majority, if not nearly all their revenue.
For every 5 jobs in Gibraltar, 1 is in online gambling, which is making Leave voters rather hard to find. Natalie has her own reasons for wanting to stay in. So you got your passport then?
I have.
Yeah, where are you heading?
I'm heading into Spain to go home after a day of work.
Each day, thousands of workers leave expensive, overcrowded Gibraltar for their homes in Spain. If Spain turns the tap off, what happens? You're going to be stuck over there?
Potentially stuck, you can look at it that way. It's very nice over there. But it would impact the flow of people coming each day.
You couldn't get to work?
No, I couldn't get to work.
Most of the workers crossing the border, though, are Spanish. They make up half the workforce. Gibraltar's rise owes much to them. In the Cannon pub, a local tells me they'll vote to keep the flow of workers into Gibraltar, and in the same breath that there's too much immigration to the UK. Why are so few people pro-Brexit, pro-leaving?
Because they're selfish, everybody's selfish, and we like the status quo. If I lived in England, I might vote Brexit.
As one expat put it, it's a sweet deal. British enough to be in Europe, Gibraltar enough to enjoy zero VAT, inheritance or capital gains tax.
You're saving at least the VAT.
Prem is a high-end jeweller who was born in Gibraltar. Britain votes to leave if they say we've had enough. You'll be happy with that, will you?
No, not at all. If the UK leaves, Spain will strangle the border and the flow of tourism into Gibraltar will cease.
What happens to your shop then?
We'll move to the UK and open one there.
They tell you here that Brexit could mean the party is over. Not just goodbye to Europe, but to Gibraltar as they know it too.